Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a tarot oracle reading, and this is for the end of July, the last 10 days. You, Leo, are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Leo, we all have a little bit of Leo in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart done, which house is Leo in? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. All right, we're going to begin. Oh, I just want to move this up a little bit more. And we'll begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck is, for the reading, the card of transition. So people get afraid of this card, but it actually is not meant to predict any unaliving. This is talking about the cycle ending and a new cycle beginning, death and rebirth. And so this is talking about the Grim Reapers coming through town. The Grim Reaper is a character that is representing for several cultures this transition. And the flag is representing the light at the end of the tunnel as well. We have the sun in the background between these two pillars saying staying on your path of glory. We have this older person trying to barter with the Grim Reaper not to come through town. But as most of us have learned over the years, the two things that you can count on are death and taxes, and the other one for sure is change. So there's change happening every second of every minute of every day, and we don't usually really recognize that change is happening unless it has an effect on our lifestyle or in a way that we actually notice it. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. And the two younger children here, they are like really happy to see the Grim Reaper. They want the rebirth. They want the new energy. If you lived in a small town ever, you'd know what that's like. When a stranger comes into town, it's like, woo! They might have something interesting to say. And this is talking about a king underneath the horse's feet has been trampled. Now that's not representing an actual person. It's talking about systems that are cracking, breaking apart at the seams, new change needing to come to different ways of doing things. And it's kind of a natural progression in many ways. And so it could even be something as simple as you've always had a hobby that you've loved, and you couldn't even imagine your life without it. And then one morning you wake up and you're just like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. And you're shocked, and so is everybody else. And they're wondering, now what are we going to get you for Christmas? That type of energy. So it's talking about definitely a large transition coming in your life. And it's at the end of one cycle and the beginning of another. We do have the moon coming in here. We had a new moon on the 14th. That was just a couple of days ago, actually. So we're still feeling that energy a little bit. But if you want to know more about that, you can look at my middle of the month reading. I also included the new moon reading in that because I want to focus on the full moon coming up for the last days here of July, as well as the energy of the eclipse season. And seeing that we have that represented here on this moon card, we have this lobster is wanting to come out of the emotional waters, get on his path and stay in between these two pillars as represented here. This is the path of glory. This is the path that you were destined to go on, on God's plan. And he's trying to figure out, how am I going to get past this wolf and this dog that are howling at the moon? Because they are, he's like, man, I got to be really careful because if they see me, I'm in big trouble. But he doesn't want to go all the way around these pillars because it's going to take forever. And he doesn't want to get distracted. So he's going to take the chance on going through. And this can talk sometimes about that balance between your domestic life and your public life. And that's what basically the new moon was about that we just had. And the full moon coming up is going to be talking about, it's on the 29th, it's in the sign of Aquarius. and it is opposed by the sun, by Leo. And the Aquarius moon is talking about, both the Leo energy really likes, values individuality, and doesn't like to really be part of the team so much. They always want to be the leader, basically. That's their natural disposition. But the Aquarius energy also likes to be an individual, but they also are more considerate of the team energy. And it is talking about the difference between your public life and your domestic life, but it's also about control and power and morals and fears. I am going to do a full moon reading after this. So basically that's what's coming up though on the 29th of June. We have that, or July, we have that moon coming out. And on February 17th and March 3rd, we had the eclipse season. So we had 2 eclipses. And if you were following me back then, I had suggested that people write down, like 10 points of things they'd really like to accomplish in the next 6 months. The eclipse season is kind of lasts about that long, for about 6 months. And I said, just put it away and then see what you've accomplished at the end. Because during eclipse season, quite often we get a lot more done than we thought we were going to get done. And, if you put it away and then you look at it, you might be really surprised if you did that, how much you actually did accomplish. I went and looked at mine a few days ago and I was like, wow, I crossed 8 things off my list. And I forgot some of the goals that I said I was going to do my best to accomplish. And that's the thing, we tend to not sometimes give ourselves enough credit. So if you haven't done that, just take a look back now and just really take a few moments to just give yourself some credit for what you have managed to get done. And this energy, so the eclipse season, we are going to have another eclipse season starting in mid-August. And so that this eclipse season is kind of finishing up. And, give it just a few minutes and you might be surprised at how much you've actually accomplished, but you've been so busy accomplishing it that you didn't realize you did. It doesn't have to be big things either, but just saying, I would really like to get this or that done, And so we have that energy is for the internal forces. And so the internal forces are what you do have control over. The external forces, you can't control what other people say or do, or if people love you or they don't love you, that type of energy. But you can control your internal forces to a certain extent and respond to the energy rather than react to it. And that's what, when it's an internal force, you'll know, because you'll be asking questions like, what if I do this and they do that? Or if they do that and then I have to do this? It's the woulda, shoulda, couldas of life. Whereas the external forces, you'll be asking more like, what the EF happened? It's external energy coming your way. You don't have control over whether other people love you or not, or whether they, what they say or they do, but you do have control over whether you're going to react or you're going to respond to it. So we do have, for the first card out, we have the energy of the 5 of Pentacles. Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D. A big part of that, of course, is money. There's 10 pentacles in total, so there's only 5 between these 2 people, which isn't really enough to sustain a household or, for them to, they're clearly in dire straits at this point. This is about being left out in the cold. This person is on crutches and they're wearing a big bell around their neck. And the bell, in the old days, they didn't have apps to ostracize people from society or to, when there was pandemics, they would just tie a big bell around their neck, and then when they came into town, everybody could hear them coming, so they would go run and hide and go the other way. And the other person here doesn't even have shoes on his feet in the snow. Now, this card quite often can talk about tactics that other people are using to put someone in this position, especially when we see some of the cards coming out here. And this energy, I feel, is coming to an end. There's a new cycle beginning, but I feel this is talking about what you've been through right now. And the tactics, anyone can handle a snowflake or two, but when all the flakes add up, and a bunch of people get together to ruin someone's reputation or doing whatever the tactics that they use are, then it can cause people to end up in this state. And so like tactics, anyone can handle a flake or two, but if they pile up and you have to deal with it day after day after day, it can get really heavy and even collapse your house. So this is talking about your feeling right now. This is your self-image, how you're feeling about yourself. You're feeling like you're kind of isolated, left out in the cold. Sometimes this can be self-isolation, and sometimes it can be put like the universe puts you in this place. And quite often when people are in this energy, you have to remember that rejection quite often is God's protection. And we have here abundance. So this is the second house is talking about your abundance, how you feel about your abundance. This is talking about the 9 steps of consistent steps of action, maybe that you've saw in a dream after asking God for assistance. And so, maybe these two look like they're going by a church. Maybe you stopped inside the church to pray and to meditate, and now you're starting to get some answers here. So this is talking about, the never-ending nightmare, and then sometimes usually it's in the wee hours of the morning when we wake up and we're trying to remember a dream, something that, the information we need comes to us in our dream quite often through our ancestors and from the Most High. And this can be talking about that energy. You may have seen it in a dream as well. So this can be trying to remember the dream and the steps of action that you need to take. The blanket on here is a quilt, and it has cosmic symbols on it. And this represents the energy of being, the universe does have you covered. Now, something I noticed on this card as well a while ago is that there's 2 people fighting with swords. They're jousting. If you probably don't have a bed frame with 2 people fighting with swords on it, but the sword energy in tarot does represent the element of air, and so it's thoughts. And it's talking about the swords represent your mental intelligence and discipline of your mind. And so this energy can be thoughts coming towards you in your dreams as well, and also steps of action that the Most High is showing you to be able to move out of it. But when you have jousting happening at the bottom of your bed, it can cause a lot of problems feng shui wise. In feng shui, they'll tell you not to put anything under your bed because it's better if you have the energy moving through. But it's not always practical for some people. If you live in a smaller, unit, you might need that storage space under the bed. But take a look and make sure that, sometimes we might have old photos or something, and there might be, they might have bad memories in them, but we don't want to throw them out because they're a big part of our story, but we don't really want them in our photo albums either. So we put them in a box and then it ends up under the bed because, hey, it fits under there. But that kind of energy under the bed can cause a lot of issues energetically. So just make sure you don't have any monsters that you put under your bed there, that because you're aware they're under there, and that might affect your dreams. So that's just feng shui advice. And then we have the energy of the wounded warrior. So the wounded warrior is someone that's determined to stay on their destined path. This is talking about, the wands here are made of wood. They fuel fire, and this is representing the element of fire. And it's talking about taking passionate action. Now, this individual, like, this is your energy, and it's going back to how you were when you were young, like your communication style and how you felt when you were young. You may have been in a family that is, you know, there maybe it was challenging. There was maybe you felt like, maybe you have felt this way your whole life. Maybe you just felt like, am I adopted? You know, and then maybe you had a mean sibling tell you, yes, you were. And you believed them, you know, kind of made sense. So this energy, you know, that, you know, when siblings argue, it can get pretty wild out there. And we have like this energy of, you know, planting seeds, and then they grow into these wands. So the wounded warrior is someone that has been through a lot, and they're determined, though, to stay on their destined path, the one that God put them on, and they are determined to be the best version of themselves as much as they can be at any given time. And so you have managed to plant 8 wands. So this is a huge accomplishment. You know, you could have had, there's lots of things that happen to us when we're children and that we go through in life. And so they could be, this could be health issues or whatever, right? And so there could be a lot of shift can happen to people during, you know, their childhood and growing up and going out in the workforce for the first time and all of that, going to high school, and you know, it's a lot sometimes. And so this is talking, because it's in your youthful, you might have just felt like you never fit in during those years. And so this is the wounded warrior energy, is someone, though, that's determined to stay on their path. And, you know, you managed to plant 8 wands. You're leaning hard on your 9th, and you've got this one, you know, and then you'll start another cycle when you get to 10. But you've accomplished a lot, and so be proud of what you've accomplished. And it looks like you've done your best to do it the right way, like, you know, work for it and have it coming towards you. And this is, there's 8 wands here, and it's talking about you landing these 8 wands. Despite all the odds, everything you've been through, you still managed to get your shift done. And so be proud of that. This is saying that they're landing. It also can talk about, you know, this energy can talk about people having negative thoughts they're sending your way. And especially with this card here, and this can be actions that they maybe are taking towards you to make sure that you don't land these wands. But look at, you've landed them anyway. You're leaning heavy on the 9th, your head is bandaged, but hey, you're standing your ground and you're doing good here. So this is talking about where you are now. Like, to land all of this is really, really good energy. And this kind of puts you on a new cycle now. So the Fool is talking about starting at the 0 point, and then it's like a blank slate where you get to start over again. That's what the white sun represents. This is you taking a leap of faith to go on another cycle. And, you know, some people don't go on very many cycles, and maybe they only go on one in an entire lifetime, and others go on several. It depends on really your life, basically, and what you want in your life and how determined you are in many ways. And so this energy is talking about the Fool energy is taking a leap of faith, and he doesn't have very much baggage here. But, you know, when you end one cycle, even though it's a blank slate, you take what you learned from the last cycle with you. So it's talking about, you know, or the last cycles. And that's what these ragged sleeves represent, is being able to go on another cycle and take what you learned with you. So it's new, and it's new energy, but it's also taking with you what you've learned from the last cycle. And then we have immature competition in the everyday life. You may be someone that, as I said, rejection is quite often God's protection. You may be someone that, you know, you might have had like a lot of sibling rivalry when you were younger. You might come from a big family, and maybe attention was hard to get in your family, and there was, you know, maybe both your parents worked hard and there wasn't much time for that. And so that sometimes this card can talk about that kind of sibling rivalry. It's the only card where there's adolescents duking it out here, basically. But it is talking about immature competition. And I refer to this as my Mean Girls card. You know, think of narcissistic cheerleaders, grade 6 to grade 10, you know. And they made the team and they're proud of that. And they also always have to win that trophy. It's really important to them. But they're at a competition and they can see, oh my goodness, the other team is better than them. And they can see that they're better than them and they're all kind of freaking out. We have to win the trophy. What are we going to do? So they will stop at nothing. Like if they have to cheat, they will. They'll do what they have to. And if they don't succeed, their mothers will pull strings behind the scenes to make sure that they do. And it's that type of immature competition. And as we mature, we start to realize that the competition really, no matter what we are competing for, whether that be a position at work or, whatever it is, like in an actual sporting event competition or whatever it is, that we really are competing with ourselves. And it's talking about, can you be better each time you go out there to do whatever it is you do? And so this is talking about being dedicated to doing a little bit better every single time you go out there. And so that, you know, even if you're 1% better than the other team, you will win. You don't have to be 20 times better or 10 times better. 1% better will get you over that top. So if everybody on the team has this attitude, I'm going to go out there, let's watch these people, let's watch the other team, and let's see how are they doing that move, and what else are they doing that they're so, you know, they're so in sync. Like let's work on that. And if everybody on the team is at least 1% better, you're going to be that much better when you go out. And it really does add up when you're on a team. And, you know, you can learn from the competition and have it inspire you rather than, you know, making the trophy everything. It is way more fun to win the trophy. I agree with that quite often. It can be a lot more fun. Having said that, sometimes, you're competing just so that you can learn from it. And you can learn a lot from the competition by watching them and being inspired. So that's what this energy is saying. This is a change happening. Maybe the competition is starting to be inspired by you now because you've gone through this shift. You've managed to land this 8 wands and they know what they did to stop you. So they're like, whoa, there was like, you know, a lot of us and there was only one of them. And they managed to do this. Like, wow, they did really like better than we thought they could. And now maybe they are trying to figure out how you did it. And so we're going to look at the external forces now and just see. So the external forces are saying that could be a cup of love coming your way. So the King of Cups is representing one of the 4 kings in the minor arcana, and he has a cup of love for someone. He's out in this rough water, and rough water in tarot represents volatile emotions, mixed emotions. It represents an energy of, maybe having chaos around, but he is in the eye of the storm. He has learned to control his emotions. And this is saying that this is the best way to be, and especially in the energy these days, because there's a lot of shift going on in the world. And people are, very volatile right now. Like there's a lot of energy out there where people are just like cutthroat energy because they're scared. There's a lot of people don't like change, especially when it's significant and it's in the face kind of change. So this is, he's got his right foot forward. He's ready to offer this cup of love. Now in tarot, the cups do represent romantic love, and that could be a sign that there's an offer of romantic love coming in. He would be the most traditional, the king would be the most likely to offer a cup of love to be in a traditional marriage. And this energy the cup could be for a love for anyone or anything. So this could be also something that you love to do or be. So this could be someone that wants to support you in what you love to do or what you love to be. It could be both, and sometimes this represents also patriarchal energy. So this can represent like your father, your grandfather, great-grandfather, down the paternal line. And it also represents an energy of, if you're married, it can represent your father-in-law and his paternal line. And this energy can be also people you look up to as father figures, as well as uncles, male cousins, brothers, that sort of energy. And so whatever, this is an external force, so it feels like it could be a supportive force for you. So let's keep going and see what's going on with these external forces. So we do have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is one of 4 knights in the tarot, and he's the slowest one of them all. Like, look at his horse is at a standstill. He could have a board meeting with himself whether or not to brush his teeth that morning. Like he can take a really long time to show up, and like it could even be talking way back when you were a child, and finally the information that you need comes up. And so this is the Pentacles again. Remember, they represent your the 3D, like matters of the 3D. This is the pentacle is representing earth and matter on earth and earthly matters. And so this could be some sort of information coming in about lifestyle change for the better. This is talking about possibly some documents coming in. This could be a phone call, a text message, maybe an email that you receive, something comes in the mail. If you get your mail, sometimes when this energy is happening, you don't get your mail, so you don't get the communication. Especially, communication can go really awry when Mercury is in retrograde, as it is now, and Mercury will be in retrograde until July the 23rd. So not long now, and it will be going forward again. So this energy also could be someone that is that messages you on social media. You could also have someone that has an event, and you decide, okay, I'm going to attend that event. You go to the event, and there you are. You run into exactly the person that you need, that has the information for you that you do need. So it's some sort of information coming in, and this is in commitment, partnerships, and it can be your spousal energy. So this could be the King of Cups energy, bringing some sort of better lifestyle to you. If he offers you this cup of love, that's a possibility. And this could be a soulmate. So the soulmate energy is talking about a contract between 2 people on the soul level, and they agree that they'll meet at some point in this lifetime and get together. And quite often it's when they have been on their destined path and they're starting to move into that energy. And both of them are like, this is a very supportive relationship. The soulmate energy quite often is a romantic relationship, but it does not have to be. It is also talking about, each of these people are very balanced in their masculine and feminine energies and highly connected to the Most High. So this is actually a Virgo card, and it is talking about the Hermes symbol, which is also about the medical, like health, this being a very healthy relationship for both people, and very strong connection to Source, to God. And so this is talking about what I refer to as HSN, the Higher Self Network. And the Higher Self Network, this is about having very strong communication with the Most High and then with each other. Quite often, soulmate energy will be very different from someone you would normally date. It could be, it's interesting though, because when the people get together, they'll say, oh, they might be from totally different cultures and totally different careers and professions. you know, all of that. But then when they get together, they're like, oh, that happened to me when I was that age, and that happened. So this can be talking about that energy. Also, with this type of younger energy in the picture here, this could be someone that you haven't seen for, like, that is from the past, but it would not be someone that you already had a relationship with that didn't work out. This would be someone that maybe you know of, but maybe you haven't seen them for a very long time. And they would, again, be someone different from who you would normally date. So now this is talking about a transition happening in your life, and I do feel that it has to do with this energy here, the promise of this new energy coming through. So this is really good energy. And then we have the, yes, and I feel like it's going to explain to you where those missing pentacles went. There we go. Because this person, this is someone who's used to being successful. I mean, 10 of Pentacles would be like, is the most, right? So it would be billionaire, trillionaire, and 9 would be multimillionaire, 8 would be millionaire, and this would be around 700K. So this is someone who's used to being successful, but they're looking here and they're like, wow, I put 6 pentacles of energy into this project or whatever this is, and I put my time, my money, and my energy in this, but this is all I got out of it. This doesn't feel right. I usually do way better than this. And so this is talking about this energy here, most likely. And so there's reasons why you're missing money and you're looking at it. Now, sometimes this could represent an energy of, you know, partnerships, commitments, and you know, this could talk about people in your inner circle, people that worked for you or you worked for them. And this is talking about some pentacles going missing. So what happened to these pentacles? What happened to this lifestyle? How did this happen when you were here? And that's kind of the energy. Now, and he's really thinking, like, should I just scrap this and take what I have left and just start over again, or should I continue with this and tweak it a little, do it in a different way? And my advice with that would be, with the energy the way it is on the planet right now, one of the big moves that has happened, you know, in the month of, like, in the last few months, Neptune, which is a very large planet and has a big pull on us. It's about our idealism, how we approach relationships with money, with you know, family, friends, how we approach business, and how we, you know, our systems that we set up to make sure that we, you know, we learn from our mistakes and then we get better, and so we become more efficient. And Neptune has been in Pisces for the last 14 years. And it's comfortable in Pisces because Neptune rules Pisces. And that's a senior executive of the zodiac. That's like the 12th sign, the last one. And it's talking about a water sign. And someone, that's the King of Cups kind of energy. Someone who is very controlled in their emotions. They've been through a lot and they don't get excited, overexcited about anything. They're very emotionally intelligent. So they are steady, you know, that type of energy. And Neptune has now moved into the sign of Aries. Now, Aries is the newborn infant in the zodiac. This is talking like, this energy is talking about, you know, a newborn baby crying at the top of its lungs because nobody can figure out what it wants. And that's how a lot of people are feeling right now. Like the systems have changed. What you were doing for the last 14 years isn't necessarily going to work in this new energy with Neptune in Aries. It's you know, if you've ever had a newborn baby in the house and they're, you know, yelling their head off, that energy, everybody's running around. What does the baby want? What does the baby want? So this is saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Maybe tweak things a little, do little experiments, and maybe you need to tweak the way you know, your systems and do them slightly different. We have AI out there now that you might actually get some shortcuts from that. You know, there's good and bad about AI. So if you use it correctly, though, it can give you a few shortcuts. You always have to double check it, though, because quite often AI is incorrect. And so On the other end, this can be talking more about your spiritual bank account, in that you could be looking at this and saying, you know, I only put one pentacle into this and I managed to get 6 pentacles out of it. And, you know, like that's like, you know, a $500,000 profit. And you're like, in the past, I'd be like jumping for joy. I'd be, yes, I did it. I'd be excited. I'd be happy. And it's just is falling flat. It's like, I'm just not interested in doing that anymore. That's this energy here coming in saying, you know, I just don't feel like doing this anymore. I feel like this isn't thrilling me like it used to. And perhaps you do have enough pentacles now and you want to go in a different route. So maybe that's what this energy here is talking about. This is in higher learning. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles. So the 4 of Pentacles is talking about having a very strong foundation here for a lifestyle and being able to move forward, being stable. And this can sometimes talk about your heart's desires and then your crowning glory. And, you know, I feel like in this, when we have this energy here, clearly you've had to come back from that energy and work your way back up again. And so this is talking about all the learning that you did to do that. And so this card can talk about sometimes having, like, he's got his back to the city, because maybe it's time to, that, you know, if you want to move, I feel like you're more probably looking at wanting to move in from your heart's desires into your crowning glory and be on the path of what you really are destined to do. And maybe you've had an idea that you've wanted to, that's something you really wanted to do since you were younger. And you've all, but like it wasn't maybe the most practical or whatever, but you just always felt like, man, I would really like to do that. But you did what society wanted you to do instead. So now might be that time where, you know, you're more set, and maybe if there's 2 of you and you're working together, you can really empower each other on that journey. And so this is talking about moving, not playing it small, being willing to take calculated risks to do what you really want to do. Remember, this isn't just about money. This is about lifestyle. And, you know, like if you really enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't feel like work. So I feel like it's talking about moving into that energy, and that's your career and reputation. And you might have to leave where you're at to be able to do that, because it's hard to be a hero in a small town. So that's the energy that we have there. And then we have the 9 of Cups here. So the 9 of Cups is talking about, we can't tell if this is in the past, present, and future. Are these cups above his head in the now? Are they behind him on a shelf in the past? Or is this he's underneath them and this is about to happen? So this energy, I do feel that this is talking about this 10th cup, is this love that you're missing in your life, and this connection at a soul level that you've been craving. And that this would be everything you wished for then, basically. Now, you might be a public figure. You might have a public platform, or this could be someone that works, like, you know, as a mayor or a government, you know, someone that is successful in the public eye. This could be a speaker, an actor, a singer, whatever this is. And it also can be talking about this energy being very public, like it ending up on the internet when facts come out about what really went on, what happened when, what happened where. This is hidden illusions and secrets coming out. And so this is talking about, this is saying, don't lose your focus now. The way he's sitting here, he has his feet turned out. And this is talking about leaking masculine and feminine energy from his lower chakra, from the base chakra. So this is maybe leftover angst from what happened. And it's talking about this energy of, not giving into fear at all and staying focused on where you want to go. Many a race is lost in the last lap. This is saying stay focused and get that last cup, because you're so close. And this is look at the infinity symbol he's making with his arms here. This is someone who is very highly, this is talking of that last cup would be ultimate fulfillment. Having a lot of the pentacle energy here, as well as all kinds of love in your life, and everything that, doing what you want to do, and loving what you do, and loving, all of your life, it being very satisfying. And so this is talking about many a race is lost in the last lap. Stay focused on the energy so that you can get these blessings coming through and land it. And then we have, this may require walking away from the situation that you're in. See, this person is walking away from 8 cups here. And this is saying, this could be something that you used to love doing it. You really went out, it was very satisfying for you, but it isn't anymore. And you may have put, quite a lot of time and energy into it, but now you want to walk away and do something different. And we have the new moon and the full moon here. And, the Leo energy is a natural born leader. But it takes sometimes, the fire signs take a little bit longer to mature. And they really value their independence, and that can just lead to it taking longer to get into what you really want. And you're ruled by the sun, and the sun energy is, God's energy. It's leadership. And so the energy is a natural born leader. But, you think about teenage boys around that age and how they can become very arrogant when they don't have confidence, because they want to appear to be confident. And how, that's just a part of life. And so this energy, I feel like, is moving into your leadership skills and moving forward in that energy. And, you might be finally ready to do that. And it could be doing something we have the Hollywood image here of, because quite often Leos are public figures. They have a tendency to be very charismatic and, outgoing, and, that star quality is definitely about. So I'm going to clarify this for those of you who want further clarification. I do hope, if you're leaving the reading here, that you've enjoyed it and that you have received value from it, and it's empowering you. I will talk about that full moon coming up on the 29th in the next set of readings, because it is in Aquarius, but the Leo energy, the sun will be in Leo, so that will be opposing it. So it's going to affect you. The full moon coming up is going to have quite a strong effect on you compared to Aquarius, and you will feel it the most. All right, and I'm going to clarify for those with my oracle that want clarification. So I do have, this is my oracle, Tales from the Vector, and this is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. This is, the numbers on these cards represent the paintings in the order that they are in the gallery on my website, talesfromthevector.com. I will put this in the description box below so that you can take a look at it if you're interested. And the information for the site will be there as well. Okay, so we do have indifference is a karmic space that we can all fall into. It's when people are saying to you, yeah, we're all in it together, and but really in the background what they're doing is they're interested in the pentacle energy, and maybe they want, this is that jealousy, having to win at all costs, and if they're in your inner circle, it can do a lot of damage. And then we have the need to be right. Sometimes you need to be right, and sometimes you don't, and it's important to know which one is which. If you if you have to be right to be happy, and you're willing to do whatever, to prove that you're the right one, that can be really lonely, because if you have to be right all the time, then other people have to be wrong sometimes, right? Right? So this is sometimes about making mountains out of molehills, and sometimes about making molehills out of mountains. Sometimes it's important and you do need to be right, and that's when you need to stand up and be and speak your truth. We do have the High Priestess energy. This is talking about using your intuition in this situation here. You deserve to have joy in your life, and if remember that sometimes when you're in an isolated situation like this, rejection is God's protection, because if there's been a bunch of this kind of energy being directed towards you by these people, and it has gone too far, well, they're going to have to deal with the consequences of it. And then this is the ego is a karmic space. And this is saying like a bat out of hell. So this is talking about this process sometimes can be like an initiation for you. So the more that you go through in life, the more you're able to go through in life. And so it might be preparing you for something very big and you just haven't gotten there yet. And that's what you're moving into. And that's when quite often the soulmate energy comes in and you're able to work with someone to really empower each other. We do have the Virgo energy here. This has been coming up in almost every reading lately, and it's because I feel Mercury being in retrograde. It went into retrograde on June 29th, and on July 23rd, it will be coming out of retrograde. So it is in the sign of Cancer, which is kind of your home life when you were young and your home life now. So there could be, just remember there could be miscommunication, definitely technical glitches. You know, you might have like problems on your computer or whatever. I noticed that, I had my group meeting this morning with the computer group I work with, and we were all talking about how slow that the YouTube channel, or how slow the YouTube was compared to how it normally is. And it just, sometimes it's like that, and it can quite often have to do with this Mercury in retrograde energy. And just be aware that people might take what you say inaccurately, or you might take what they say. So you don't need to be right unless you need to be right, you know. It's not worth getting in arguments over with people if it doesn't matter. We have anticipation moving forward with this new action coming in. This is you planting those 8 wands is going to change things greatly. So congratulations on that energy. And this Pisces energy, I do feel, is talking about, you know, tweaking that energy with Neptune in Aries now, that you might need to, you know, it says sink or swim. So it's kind of like tweaking those systems that you have worked so hard for. It can be really frustrating. A lot of people are frustrated with this energy right now, because, you know, it's kind of like when your phone updates and you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden you finally figured your iPhone out, and now you have to figure it out all over again. And you're like, no. And you didn't ask for the update, it just came along. And so it's that type of energy. And then we have blind spots. So the scotoma can be saying that you might not, like this, a scotoma is, you can have a scotoma in your eye where part of your eye, the pixels just are a little blurry, you know. You wouldn't really notice it in the big picture unless it's right on the pupil. But quite often we do have those, and we can have those in life as well, like where we can see something that no one else can see, or other people can see something that we can't see. This can also be talking about everybody can see it and nobody can see it coming. And that's the kind of energy we've been in, the nobody can see it coming kind of energy. We've had a lot of truth coming out in really weird ways. And I feel that's in big part because Uranus is moved into the sign of Gemini a couple months ago, well, maybe 6 weeks ago now. And that energy wants the truth to come out. We haven't had Uranus and Gemini since 1941 to 1949. So this going back in time, depending on how old you are, this can be talking about something that happened in your paternal line or something that is coming up, this information. Maybe you have property over in Europe or something, you know, a lot of truths are coming out now. And like that was 75 years ago, and we still don't have all the truths that came out from that time. Gemini, bottom line is when Uranus goes into Gemini, it wants the truth to come out. And so this energy is like, there is like really weird truths coming out in really weird ways. That's because Gemini is so quick-witted, you know, it can come at things from all angles. And we're going to be in that energy for the next 7.5 to 8 years till 2033. So there's going to be more and more truths coming out. And some of them are really like, it's like getting the rug pulled out from underneath you when you find out, holy smokes, what's been going on in the world, you know, what you didn't realize, you know. And I'm going to clarify the energy for the underlying energy for the external forces, and that's dissemination of information. So that's like when there's an elephant in the room, very similar to this energy. There's an elephant in the room. Nobody wants to see the elephant, but there's an elephant in the room, and eventually you do have to deal with it. And then we have the Gemini energy coming out. I just want to point out, when my horoscope signs come up in my readings, I'm not talking specifically about people. I'm talking about the sign itself. What can we learn from the sign? If you ever get your birth chart done, you'll find you have them all in there somewhere, and we can learn from them and learn about other people. Every sign has its strengths and weaknesses, and every sign has something we can learn from them. This Gemini energy, I feel definitely, it is also ruled by Mercury, so it's talking again about that Mercury retrograde, but it's also talking about Uranus being a pain in the butt for people who don't want the truth to come out. So this energy, whatever has been done here, the truth will come out, and the truth will set you free. And then we have the Sagittarius energy. Now this is sitting on this energy, and I just feel like, you know, in the constellation of Sagittarius, there's a black hole that a lot of people feel is the cosmic heart, like it's the heartbeat of the Milky Way. So I feel like this is talking about cosmic justice coming through for you. And then the shooting star energy is about, you know, if you wish on a star, you can't just sit there. Like 2 years later, you're still sitting there. Nothing's happened. The universe wants to see action happening. This is about having a good, strong attitude and moving forward. The same energy is here. Don't quit now. Keep going. Keep moving forward. Do your best. You know, that's all. That's being your best is your purpose. You know, being the best you that you can be. We have transition again coming through here, and this is sitting on your career and reputation. So I do feel that whatever energy has been directed your way regarding your reputation, and that the truth will come out, and you know, you can count on it with Uranus and Gemini. And then we have the pride energy, all or nothing. And so this is about this can talk about people who really are you know, in cutthroat energy, all or nothing. They're willing to go, they don't have anything to lose like maybe you do. So they're willing to go for it, you know. And so this can be, you know, the thing about Leo though is like you can handle this. This is about pride. Now they say pride before the fall. And Leo tends to be, you know, a proud, confident sign. But more so than that, you know, when Leo has family, they call it a pride. And so this is also talking about that type of energy of, you know, being, you know, like the being in the energy of protecting your family and protecting yourself from family if needed. The energy here is the world, and this is the Fool has ended this journey. So this is talking about this energy comes in, and that's when all this new energy comes in, and it's a whole new world. And then I feel that's when you start your journey with your soulmate energy. and move forward in a totally different way again. So some people go on a lot of cycles, especially I think fire signs have a tendency to really like to go on adventures, you know. They're more independent that way. In particular, Sagittarius energy, it's known as the world traveler. So this is the type of energy that we're in. This is actually a really good reading. The devil didn't show up in this one. He's been showing up in a few of them. The energy is a little bit challenging, there's no doubt about it, for the last 10 days here in July. But, you know, possibilities are wrapped up in challenges. I do hope you've enjoyed this, and I really want to thank you for your time and energy, your likes and comments and subscribes. I'm very honored when you do subscribe, and I will be back with another reading for you soon, Leo. Bye for now.